25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I love the topic that our next guest is going to bring to our show. I can remember when we had Robert Schuller on the show years and years and years ago, and he had, I can't remember if it was the title of his book or just something he said. He said, what would you do if you knew that you wouldn't fail? What would you do if you knew that whatever you tried to do, you wouldn't fail at? And that's kind of a cool thought, isn't it? And maybe, and I turned that around a little bit to say, well, what would I do if I was too ignorant to believe I could fail? Anyway, Chris Ruisi is on the phone. He's an executive leadership expert. He's the founder and CEO of something called the Coach's Zone, and he's written a book. It's called Step Up and Play Big. Unlock your potential to be exceptional in 8 simple steps. So just kind of taking Dr. Schuller, is Robert Schuller a doctor? Whatever he is.
Yes.
Whatever, Pastor Schuller, whatever he is. Taking that notion that what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail, and actually giving you some ways that you won't fail by with these 8 steps is Chris Ruisi on the phone. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Robin. How are you?
Good. Where are you calling from?
I am calling from snowy New Jersey, and don't tell me the sun is out.
The sun is beautiful here. It's 60 degrees.
This is going to be a great interview. I can tell.
70 degrees expected high today.
Oh, wait, I'm on the floor. Let me get the spear out of my back.
We got girls in bikinis here.
Oh,
wearing coconuts instead of tops.
Oh, Larry, you know what? They told me you were a cool guy. Now I know.
Well, Chris, thank you for being on the show. Robin's son lives up in New Jersey.
Yep.
I'm originally from New York, so I'm just kidding with you. But it is nice here.
Okay. But you're enjoying where you are.
I'm trying my hardest to get to see that webcam in Manhattan in Times Square, but for some reason it's not working. It's not. Is it snowing yet?
Yeah, it started to snow about, I don't know, when I woke up this morning around 6:30, there was a slight dusting on the ground. It's only supposed to get worse as the day goes on. So we're here, got firewood, we got hot chocolate, we're ready.
Do you want to know what I've noticed about people who are successful? Is that we've all known there's probably a number of celebrities we could name that fit this description. They were very, very successful, and for some reason or other, they went bankrupt. And then they became successful again. It's like, well, how did they do that? I mean, how did they do it a second time? Some people can't even do it one time. Mm-hmm. And then you hear people who say, you know what, I purposely decided to give away everything and see if I could do it again. You know, Paul McCartney tried to do some music under a different name just to see if he could have success without the name. I think
Richard Bach.
Richard Bachman did.
Richard Bach.
Richard Bach was, oh gosh.
Yeah.
What's his real name? Stephen King.
Yeah, Stephen King.
Stephen King, yeah. I can't remember. Richard Bachman is what he called himself, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, Chris, good morning. Thank you for being on the air with us. Yeah, I guess a lot of people who've become successful wondered if it was an accident or not.
Well, you know what? Some people always describe others who have something more than they do as, oh, gosh, they're really lucky. But I seem to believe that people can create their own luck to a certain extent. And by that I mean those folks, the ones we just mentioned, all had and many others, all had a vision in their mind and on paper of what they wanted to create, to what degree, and by when. And from that vision, that kind of triggered the questions in their mind, the right questions in their mind to ask, and they learned how to prepare, they learned how to ask the right questions, and from the right questions you get better information, and from better information you get to make better decisions which improve the quality of your life and or business. So they created their luck, so to speak. They decided to be a master of their circumstances as opposed to what many folks do, is accept their current status quo and they become a victim of their circumstances. Now, I don't want to get too long here, but there are far too many times, we accept circumstances realizing, we can't do anything about it, when in fact we can, and we're just being lazy and we're not stepping up and playing big, as I like to say. There's nothing wrong with being average. Average is fine. But as long as you're prepared to accept the consequences of being average.
Well, and there's also I agree, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with being average, but a lot of times people don't think of themselves as average. A lot of times people will hook on to other people's success, and I don't know that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that a lot of times it's easier, to say, oh, this guy's successful, let me join his team.
Yep, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Again, those folks are getting clarity as to what they want to do. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you want more, you can learn from that person and apply it to your approach and create your own path and journey.
Let me ask you this. Does a person have to be an expert at what they want to be successful at in order to be successful at it?
No, they don't. They're going to make mistakes, and mistakes are great because mistakes provide us with an opportunity to learn what we could do and how we can do it better the next time. I built a career on making mistakes in the corporate world, and I just learned how to make glorious recoveries. People, when they're afraid to make mistakes, they sabotage themselves.
And people do have to take responsibility for their actions because people in general hate to say, it's my fault. They're very quick to blame others.
Exactly right, Robin. And what I always tell folks to do, when you make a mistake, you own it, you fix it, you learn from it, and then you move on.
So let's see. The book is called Step Up and Play Big, and then the subtitle, Unlock Your Potential to Be Exceptional in 8 Simple Steps. I think that is a great hook right there when people say, oh gosh, 8 simple steps. Let me buy the book to find out what they are. So without giving away the store, is there a way for you to kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of the 8 steps?
Sure. The first was, I mentioned before, having a vision, clarity of what you want to accomplish. And you don't have to go out 100 years. Go out 1 year, 2 years, no more than that, and then work backwards to various milestones along the way that you want to achieve. Next is you've got to know your full capabilities. And by that I mean all of us have certain skills and abilities that we haven't used yet complete at all, or we haven't used them completely. And that's where the fear of making a mistake comes in. Have courage and start to use those skills. You do things that you thought in the past you weren't able to do. I tell people they have to be like a turtle. A turtle moves forward by first sticking out his neck. And to learn to use your full capabilities, you've got to take those reasonable risks in life. The next step is fighting distractions. All of us right now on this show, all of us have one common denominator. We all only have 7 inches between our ears. And an awful lot of clutter goes up there during the course of a day. So without a vision, you're making yourself even more of a victim than you need to be. A vision, goals, confidence, taking reasonable risks takes up all of the available mental space where distractions can get in. Next is, all of us are leaders not only of teams but ourselves, so we have to know what leadership is. And basically we want to be known by our actions and not by our words. Then the next step is learning and using better habits. The skills that we use today that got us to whatever level of success we are right now aren't necessarily the skills and habits that we need to get us to that next level described in our vision. And what you have to be able to do, going back to learning from our past experiences, is use an exercise that I call the game films. That after every event, every situation, in most cases not so good situations, ask yourself these 4 questions, and if you had to do it all over again, based upon the result, what would you start doing, stop doing, do more of, and do less of? Every professional sports team does that after every game, and they take that knowledge to the next game to play better.
I love that.
Why shouldn't we do that as individuals?
Let's talk about the game film just for a second. I love that analogy, by the way. So if I'm going to look at my game film and, in other words, review what I've done and how I made mistakes and what I got right, what I got wrong, would I also benefit from somebody else's game film, even if it was somebody who lived 100 years ago?
Absolutely. We can always learn from those who have done what we want to do better than we currently do it. Absolutely. Because
we've said this before, that success leaves clues. You
Yes.
can often say, how did this person become successful, and almost use it as a blueprint for your own, but not exactly 100%. The metaphor I like to use in achieving goals is taking a walk from here in Florida to Los Angeles. It's about a 3,000-mile walk, and I choose walking as opposed to flying, because in flying I could get there in 5 hours. Walking would take me several months.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I could plan it out all I wanted to, and there still would be a lot of unexpected things along the way. But it doesn't mean that I wouldn't be making progress every day as long as I kept doing it.
Exactly right.
That's the way I look at success. I knew that this topic was going to hold my attention. That's why the 15 minutes went by so quick. We need to take a little break, and we'll be right back. Chris Ruisi is on the phone up in freezing, frigid New Jersey.
Yes.
About to have 2 feet of snow.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm doing this interview outside. Right?
Step up and play big. That's what Mother Nature is saying to you right now. I'm going to step up and play big, and I better not be so arrogant about our weather. We might get a hurricane or something. Chris, thank you for being on. Just hang in there about another 2 minutes, and we'll be right back. This is The Source. WOCA will be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. I have a lot of clouds and a shower or two this morning. Then clouds will break for sunshine this afternoon. It'll be a windy, cooler day with a high in the 60s. Clear, breezy, and chilly tonight, 38 to 42. Tomorrow, partly sunny and breezy, high 60 to 64. On Wednesday, mostly sunny and quite cool, high 58 to 62. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Whether you're building it up or knocking it down, get it done, rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals is here to make your job a little easier. Our knowledgeable staff will help you find the right equipment for any job, big or small. Did you know that Sunbelt Rentals carries heaters, air conditioners, generators, lighting, traffic control, and so much more? So whether you're building it up or knocking it down, we've got the equipment you need. Get it done, rent it now. And right now, for a limited time, you can have it for less. Just by mentioning this ad, if you rent it Friday afternoon, you can keep it the whole weekend and only pay for one day. And this is a limited time offer, so stop into Sunbelt Rentals today, Northwest 27th, just a quarter mile east of I-75. For more information, just give us a call, 352-369-9101. 352-369-9101. Sunbelt Rentals. Get it done, rent it now. 352-369-9101.
The Usual Suspects is a jazz quartet playing your favorites of swing, Latin, and blues. Come to their final performance at Arthur's Bistro in the Ocala Hilton Saturday, January 31st from 6:30 till 9:30 p.m. When you hear The Usual Suspects, think how they would sound at your next event. Don't miss this opportunity to hear The Usual Suspects. To contact The Usual Suspects, call 352-427-4216. It's 352-427-4216. Then sit back and enjoy the sound. All right, 12 minutes before 11 o'clock. Let's return to our guest. Chris Ruisi is on the phone. His book is called Step Up and Play Big, Unlock Your Potential to Be Exceptional in 8 Simple Steps. I just wanted to point out that 1 month ago, it was the day after Christmas. We were now, at that point, a month ago, looking forward to the new year and probably making some New Year's resolutions. And if you've already fallen off of that, you sabotage yourself or whatever, the principles in this book actually address that as well. So there's no reason why you couldn't get back on track.
Right.
You don't have to wait a whole year to do it. You got to have a new month resolution when February starts. Chris, I was noticing that, let's see, what does it say? 20% of the sales proceeds from Step Up and Play Big goes to the Wounded Warrior Project. So thank you for that. Are you a veteran?
No, I'm not. But I have my youngest son is active military. He's a Navy F-18 pilot.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
In the world today.
When you talk to these folks, they're very. It's nothing like the movie Top Gun. They're very. When they're together, they're kind of crazy. But if you bump into them on the street, they're very unassuming, and they all have one purpose in mind. Their view is there are people in the world who don't like us, and if not me, who else would defend us?
That's exactly
right.
But similar to the Top Gun mentality or the attitude that was expressed in the movie is that the ones who get to be Top Gun are the ones who believe they can and do everything and work towards that goal.
Absolutely. You can control your destiny. And my youngest son was, as a parent, you come to that point in life where the quote, "Oh, how the mighty have fallen," begins to apply to you. It's when your kids are smarter than you. But the concepts in the book worked actually with my youngest son. He did it all by himself. He changed his destiny from a freshman in college to where he ended up today. It was him learning, using the game films, having a vision, setting goals, everything that's in the book. And all I did was, kind of lay out a template, and he took responsibility for his life and his actions. And that's the point, Larry. Nope. If you decide to take responsibility for your life, you would be amazed as to what can happen. I wrote a piece at the beginning of the year. Every day we are given the opportunity and we're presented with a blank canvas as to what we want to draw that day for our life. And
Yes.
I think far too many people don't take advantage of that. They kind of, there's a little thing that goes off in their head in the morning when they stand up that says, how can I make simple stuff really hard today and let others abuse me?
Exactly.
And I just don't think it has to be that way.
No, I don't either. The one aspect of doing something a little bit at a time. I was trying to remember the name of the mountainside sculpture of the American Indian. Well, gosh, what is it that's being worked on right now?
I can't recall.
And it won't be finished in our lifetime. And anyway, I was watching a video of I think it was the granddaughter of the guy who started it, and she was talking.
The S word, Susquehanna, or something like that. I can't remember.
Do you happen to remember, Chris, the name of it?
No, I don't. I'm racking my brain now.
Okay, I can do a quick Google search, but let's see. It's Crazy Horse. It's the Crazy Horse Memorial. That's what it is.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you, Google.
Yeah.
I don't have to use my brain anymore. I just use Google. But I guess how that connects to what we're talking about is that goal of having that mountain carved into the likeness of Crazy Horse was from day one plotted out that it was going to take decades to get done. Decades.
Right.
You think about that, right? I mean, we can build the Freedom Tower in New York City. It took thousands of workers to get that thing up, but still it got done. Or one or two sculptures in the Crazy Horse just takes a longer amount of time. But either way, it's still piecework. Everything is piecework.
What was common between the Freedom Tower and the Crazy Horse sculpture is that they all set individual milestones of targets they wanted to achieve, as opposed to trying to tackle it in one fell swoop. And I use the analogy of a breakfast buffet. There are two types of people, Larry, that go to a breakfast buffet. There's the person who piles it all on, puts everything on their plate, sits down really proud and tells everybody, look what I'm going to eat.
Right?
But about halfway down that mountain of food, the maple syrup from the waffle is now on the prime rib, and the shrimp scampi is rubbing up against the eggs Benedict, and it's getting kind of funky. And what happens is the person stops, they lose interest, they got overwhelmed, and they couldn't go any further. Versus the type of person I am in a breakfast buffet. Is the first thing you do when you walk in the room is you scope the room and look for the shortest line, because you want to build some early wins and get some momentum going. So the omelet guy is the shortest line. You grab your plate, go get your omelet, sit down, eat your omelet, finish your coffee, get a brand new plate, and go tackle the next thing. And I submit to you, by breaking it down into smaller, more measurable pieces, I'm building momentum, and I'm going to be most successful at the end. And then I have fruit to make my wife happy that I'm eating healthy.
You talk about leadership in your book and how everybody is not cut out to be a boss.
That's correct. That is correct. It's, the bosses or leaders, I won't even use the word boss, because people like to watch bosses fail. Others like to help their leaders succeed. But they're not born. They can be made. Yes, there are some people with innate skills. But you can be the best leader you possibly can. Again, Robin, by setting out with that vision and identifying what skills that you need to have or to supplement in order to help you nurture and develop your team. The single most important variable for the success of any business, any company, is the quality of the team supported by the quality of the leadership. So if you take care of your team, they will take care of your business and your customers.
Well, and using that sports metaphor, and even the the game film that you talked about, which is after the game, but before the game, and I don't mean the minute before the game, but for months before the game, all of the practicing, all of the workouts, all of that goes into that 1 4-hour game or however long it ends up being, I mean, is all a part of it. Robert and I do music, and there's no secret that if you don't practice, you're not going to be successful in music. You have to practice.
Yet far too many people try to wing it.
Yeah,
Winging it only gets you so far.
And winging it is only an illusion, because anybody who wings it, who improvises with music has practiced a lot. Trust me. Yeah, they have practiced.
Oh, I know it. I know they've practiced a lot. I mean, you may remember Lou Carnesecca from St. John's University. Was their basketball coach many years ago. But he said one thing which captured what you just said, Larry, is that nothing ever takes place on the court that doesn't take place in practice first.
Oh, I love that. No, and I really don't know him. I apologize. I'm not really a sports guy, but I love the sports metaphor here. Chris, how do we get the book? Let's make sure we don't forget to do that part.
Absolutely. Well, you can get the book on Amazon, Step Up and Play Big by me, or you can go to my website, chrisruisi.com. That's CHRISRUISI. And on my products page, you can order the book there. And if you order it there, I will sign it for you, send it to you, along with some Step Up and Play Big chocolate.
Oh, really? By the way, Chris sent us a copy of the book, and I have it here, and it is signed. So if you want this, what do you call them when an author signs a book? Monogrammed? No.
Inscription.
Inscribed.
There you go.
It's inscribed right on the book itself. He didn't send a sticker that we added later on, which is okay too. But so let me give this one away. Call me if you want the copy I have, and we'll repeat the information how we can buy it. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this? Are you there? Going once, going twice. Well, call in if you want to claim the copy of the book. 622-9622.
What's wonderful about your chapters is that you give an overview of what you're speaking about, and then you highlight the stepping up part, and then you go on further to highlight the play it big part, so nobody can get confused. It is a roadmap for your life.
Exactly right, Rob. I like things written in short, direct way, and that's how I wrote the book. That's how I learned. But what I also did with the book, by having the play big exercises at the end of it, was my goal, my motivation to take away any and all excuses a person could have for not wanting to step up and play big. All you got to do is follow it along step by step, and if you don't, then you've made that choice. You've made the decision that you want to stay where you are, which is okay. But you've got to be able to live with those consequences.
And I think we have somebody wanting the book right now. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
Good morning, everyone. It's Mary.
Hey, Mary. The book will be waiting for you, okay?
Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You too.
There we go.
And one thing I want to mention, too, when you have a team, again, a sports metaphor in a way, you don't want somebody to hold you down, especially the coach. I mean, sometimes the coach can be the weakest link.
Right.
Exactly right. That's when you have to go find a new team.
Well, I love everything you're saying, and I think we all are potentially able to be successful. The one thing I differed with the schools is when they would take a student and call him a gifted student, because I believe we're all gifted. I believe every student is gifted, and in one way or another. And with that gift, you can make the most out of this life possible. And so that you couldn't have a better message to take with you, regardless of how old you are. Chris, thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
Hey, it was my pleasure. Enjoy your sunshine. I'll be out with my salt and shovel.
No, I'm actually jealous. I kind of wish I was up in the snow. That's why I keep looking at the webcam.
Well, it's nice for a while.
Yeah.
I know, but I haven't had it in a long time. Last time I saw snow was, I think, in the year 2000. So
Yeah.
I'll send you some.
Chris, thank you. That was a great interview.
Hey, you guys have been great. Thanks so much.
Step up and play big. Go to Chris's website, chrisruisi, RUISI.com. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.